Hi, this is Rob Skiff. This is the workshop where we're going to be working on a certificate program. Workshopping that on our wiki about. And introduce yourself.
I am Pat Peters, and we'll be working on a certificate for food service management.
So if you have any questions or comments that you'd like to, and if you really want to participate actively, go to oplerno.wikispaces.com. Give us a second to set up the page, and you'll see it's a web address at the top when I share my screen. And also, you can feel free to tweet questions or comments to hashtag Woodblock, or you can send us direct questions to questions@oplerno.com. And Dan and Daniel, let me just pull up the Podio chat in case you guys need to get a hold of me. What I'm going to do right now is do what I'm never allowed to do, which is share my screen. And I'm going to, right now we're going to walk through the process of going on to the wiki to show people how to create a new wiki page, and then, away we go. Okay. I'm sharing the screen. Right. Okay. What is going on? Okay. Glitch in the matrix. Let's try that again. Share the screen. Share. Okay. And that's Daniel being broadcast live on the planet. Okay. So here's our wiki, oplerno.wikispaces.com. And what we're going to do is, why don't just, okay, I'll type in the Oplerno website. You'll see what is going on here. We're a little glitchy. We just had a major thunderstorm go through. It was pretty cool, but it's made things a little bit slow in terms of our internet. When you hit the main page for the Oplerno wiki, what you'll want to do is, if you want to create a new page for a particular certificate or degree program, you will go to Pages and Files, click on that, and you go to the top, and you hit New Page. Now, sometimes people don't, if you look at the top and this row here, okay, it's really important if you want to create stuff that you show the wiki controls, okay? So you'll click on this button. If you see blue, you've got all the different pages and ability to create a new wiki, sorry, a new page, and you click on New Page, and it pulls up the title name. And so we're typing in food service management. Okay. And we hit create. And the wiki page won't be saved unless you put something on it. So we're just going to put test here for right now.
Okay.
And then our little guide that we have here, which is Certificate and Degree Development Guideline. And go to the bottom. They're all proposals need to have these basic elements in it.
Yep.
And so I just hit cut and paste, go to / Food Service Management Certificate, hit edit, and bada bing, bada bim, bada boom, we're done. Turn this off, which is the, whoops, turn this off, and now we can just type or add in anything we would like.
Okay.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about, do you have things that you've already created that justify, for the justification for the certificate?
I have not done the justification yet. I have not done the...
Okay, well, I'm going to help you with that because I've already come up with a certain, we've been talking at the break about, the justification.
Right.
Okay, so let's go here and get rid of that bulleted list. Interesting. There we go. Food service is a huge, remember this is just a draft that other people are going to comment on.
Right.
But food service is a huge global industry. People don't have, whoops, UNDUSTRY. People do not have access to a short online program to help manage their business. Okay. It's a short one sentence. I mean, clearly when we're talking about a full-on proposal, you'd want to talk a little bit about the size of the market.
Right.
Any other, the fact again, maybe the cost differences between different programs, like a degree from CIT or Johnson and Wales. Sorry, CIA. Yep. Johnson and Wales or some other institution might be really, it might be very expensive. But yet there's a huge global market of people who need basic restaurant and food management skills.
Yep.
And that this certificate can meet those needs. Okay, so the next piece is classes.
Mm-hmm. Well, of course, my own class, Introduction to Professional Kitchen Management. And then I would love to.
And let me interrupt and say congratulations. That class is now
Thank you
on the marketplace for Oplerno. So please share that. You can register for the class.
You can
and
register
the cost
for
of the
the
class is?
It's $500.
It's $500,
Yep.
and it starts
September 15th.
September 15th. So you can register for the, essentially also start register a little bit later on for other classes that once we submit our application, once we submit our letter of intent,
right.
You can earn your certificate in this.
This would be awesome. The other class I'd like to see in the certificate.
Okay, so let's wait 1 second. Let's interestingly enough, on the internet right now, I logged into my account and I pulled up your class.
Yep.
Okay, and we'll get to that in a second, but let's hope this is on it. It might be. Sometimes it takes a little bit for the marketplace to update.
Oh, it's already there. I saw it.
Oh, it's already there. Hey. So, Matt, we just have to update the picture at some point soon.
Yeah. Wow.
So, well, the great thing is, so we've got the syllabus.
Yeah.
Well, we can actually cut and paste the syllabus, which would be a great thing. I'll show you how to do that. We've got the price, the start date, the instructor, and we'll show a little bit about updating the profile. What a great thing to be able to link this course to the list of classes in the program.
Awesome. Excellent.
So the two things. So we're going to call, here's the class. It's called Introduction to, oops. Glitch in the matrix. Introduction to Professional Kitchen Management. We'll leave that there for right now, the dashes. No, I'll take them out. You can see how easy the wiki is to edit when your thumbs aren't huge.
Yeah.
Okay. And, again, the great thing about the wiki is you can also share links. And so to create a link, you hit Insert Link, and you hit web address, and you cut and paste the web address into the wiki. See, that's the full web address, and add the link, and we are done. I want to hit save because one of the problems with with any time you're working online is if you don't save, you lose all your changes.
Right.
And that really stinks, especially when you're doing this live in front of an audience of millions.
Yeah, that kind of sucks.
So yeah, we've got Introduction to Professional Kitchen Management. And what were the other classes you were thinking?
I would like to see a small business management class.
Okay. So business.
Finance class.
Okay.
And then there's also the possibility of a serve-safe class. And although I am licensed to teach that, the test must be proctored in person. So while they could get all of the training from me, I could only offer local certification because you have to have a proctor there to give you the test.
You should find out what a proctor consists of.
I am a proctor.
No, but what? Oh, so you have to be certified by ServSafe to be the proctor?
Yes.
Okay, because it would be interesting to see whether a person could go into an office, a legal office, for example, and an affidavit being signed that the person didn't, cheat, etc., on the, on the exam, and then you could do those types of, there could be examinations, unless there's a practical.
Well, no, but the only problem with that is as a ServSafe proctor, they give you a code that allows you to access if you're going to do online testing. So you could test out online, but I would have to type in enter it, and then you could take the test.
Okay.
And it would be under my
under your thing. Still, maybe something to talk with them about.
Could be something we could work out. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
I could ask them, but definitely.
Yeah, because obviously they want to be taking the class,
right,
so that they make their
right.
Okay, so they make their cut. So that might be helpful for them.
Yeah.
So a ServSafe class.
ServSafe class.
And we'll put a question mark on it. Okay.
And that would be it. It's a nice 15 credit or 12 credit plus ServSafe.
Yep. Now, let's talk a little bit about the introduction to the kitchen management class. Do you have sort of a list of skills?
I do actually.
Do we want to go to the? Do we want to go onto your course right here?
In the syllabus on the enroll part, there should have been. In the proposal, I did the list of skills that you would learn. Oh no, they made me add that.
I don't want to go over your phone number and that stuff.
Yeah. I think it's on the enroll.
Okay.
On the enrollment page. And here there was.
Oh, here we are.
There. Did I list it?
Course will provide prerequisite knowledge and
Yes.
anticipation of future classes. Learners passing this class will have the following competencies. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut and paste these.
Yep.
Okay. And this is a perfect thing to talk about. So list of classes into the program, and then what we're going to do is we're going to go down here. So, okay. 4, 5, 6. So these are the list of skills for the first class. You know, again, see between, and I'm going to hit save so people can comment and edit if they have. The nice thing about this is that you've got the ability to add and comment on things right off the bat, and it's interesting. We already have one discussion post.
Oh, nice.
Let's check it out. Let's see what there might be. Oh, EU laws. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Ah, here we go. In all member states and many third countries, the overarching principles concerning food safety and consumer protection are established in national legislation. However, at the EU level, food legislation is evolved without some of these basic principles. Okay, so he's saying, hey, let's check out EU laws.
Right.
Good idea. Yeah, because it's interesting. We offer, if you offer ServSafe classes, that may be a certification that's only in the States.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And so there might be a whole subset of different classes that might be created or integrated from other countries that for the food service management certificate that we'd have to be open to in terms of allowing people.
Well, and we can certainly
that.
Something else. I mean, food safety is food safety.
Sure.
Every program has its own thing, but that's not the only program out there.
Okay. Good.
You call it food safety without a certification.
Yeah. Well, I think the certification actually really adds quite a bit to the employee,
Really
especially if they're, again, someone who's entering the field and they're a great cook. Okay. They've had some training, whether it's formal or informal, but they can show the certificate and they can show that they've got ServSafe, or whatever certification in the EU or wherever that has it, and that'll get them. That's a big, huge leg up, I would say. I mean, I don't know. I don't hire. Well, you hire people.
In the States, it's becoming rapidly mandatory to have a ServSafe certified person on your staff when your place is open.
Okay,
So,
which is even,
yeah.
So, and again, we can establish later on a database, okay, people who've demonstrated these skills and who also have the certification. So we might become a source of potential employment for people as they're searching around for jobs in the food service industry. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right, so the 10 skills. Basic HR functions including hiring, training, retention, separation, safety, and OSHA and state laws. So that's a key skill. Do you have an idea about how you're going to integrate that into the portfolio to place you on the spot?
Into
Professor
portfolio,
Peter?
sure. My plan as far as the portfolio goes will be, first of all, my course has an extensive amount of writing. Every week there is a writing assignment designed to show understanding and mastery of that week's subject matter. So I'll have that for their portfolio. In addition, we will of course have things that measure. You will have tests and quizzes in each week, also to look at. Have they grasped the information? Then of course things like recipe conversion, bookkeeping, again, tests, quizzes, writing papers. You're going to develop par lists. You're going to develop accounting sheets for your particular place, either that you're employed at or that you want to be employed at.
Interesting. Okay. And again, all those can be uploaded and shared on Google, shared via either the Google documents or the documents that we'll store on our electronic portfolio.
Right.
Excellent. Now, inventory management. I mean, I want to push a little bit. Is there a way in which to, you have here menu development, designing. I mean, that's simple. Well, relatively simple to do in terms of showing actually the menu, showing the analysis behind it. Okay, that you can actually do the work. What is HACCP?
HACCP. Hazard analysis and critical control points. It's every point in the flow of food from the time it enters the restaurant to the time it's the customer's place. Infection or contamination is most likely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how would you? Could that be demonstrated via video? Could you demonstrate that a person has the knowledge of the proper processes to identify by them filming themselves?
Possibly, yes. I mean, you could certainly do a portfolio piece where you walk through a restaurant. So you could say take a dozen eggs at the back door, and then as you walk it through the restaurant, point out each critical control point in its flow. So say it hits the prep table, you're going to say, okay, here's a critical control point because you're breaking the eggs and they're being handled.
Genius.
So now you have a spot. This is a control point. Oh, this refrigerator. This is a critical control point because the temperature is not where it needs to be, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, you could certainly videotape yourself doing that for your portfolio.
That's awesome. And of course, inspection, making sure things are inspected properly.
Right.
Those are things that are critical to show, not that they're theoretically written down, but that someone can actually do a proper inspection.
Right, that they can open a case of bananas or whatever and say, yes,
Check
I
them
would
out.
take this because of this, or oh, I would reject this because of blah, blah, blah.
Can be done remotely. You don't have to see the person can record it.
They can record it and upload. Yep.
Whether it's and they can even record it on their smartphone.
Yeah.
So there's not the need to buy any extra complicated pieces of equipment. They can use the technology that's available to them.
Right. And if they don't have that technology, they can certainly write it out.
Sure.
I mean, I can certainly say to them, take you through milk arriving at your facility to the glass. Name all the critical control points.
But it'd be really interesting to, again, there's telling and selling.
Yeah, right.
Okay. In other words, everybody can write something theoretically about how to do X.
Right.
Okay.
Showing that you can do it.
But showing that you can do it is really the value added, we think, with the portfolio piece. In food. That's awesome. So equipment basics, including selection, maintenance, and problem solving.
Right.
What's an idea in terms of the guidelines for the documentation of that?
Well, that would be more of a, I'm not sure that you could videotape that, although, I mean, it's possible you could, take your, say you're going to do, what one were we looking at, catering? Is that the one you just asked about, or operating?
No, that was this was equipment basics.
So you could go through and either, if you wanted to demonstrate for your portfolio, you could go through either the restaurant you're working in, or a restaurant that we've partnered with, and you could go through and either point out the basic equipment. I mean, every restaurant is going to have some equipment in common: a stove, an oven, a fryer-later, whatever. And you could go through, proper safety training for it. How do you use it?
Or write that, or depending on where you are, write down what the particular equipment is,
right? Or you could do something like, you could, if you had to write it down, you might go show 3 different food restaurants, or 3 different types of restaurants, and then go through, for this fine dining restaurant, you would need blah 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 blah. But if you're just going to have a hot dog,
sure,
then you're only going to need yada yada yada.
Right. But it's good to have both in case you want to it's good to have all of that knowledge in case, again, you want to upgrade, but you can meet people where they're at.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And of course, controlling costs, including purchasing policies, waste management, maintenance. That's pretty obvious how to document those. Operations management, including planning and scheduling. That's easy to do. Catering basics, including site inspection, manual development, labor, equipment needs, and costing. So I'd assume that's kind of like a project. In other words, like here, I'd like you this week to cost out.
Right. We have several of those
X.
where, here's a menu, cost it out, or here's a dish. Actually, what I did was, go to, on the web as an option, go to the Food Network.
Mm-hmm.
Pick out a show.
Oh,
now
okay.
Cost out what they're making. Is it going to cost you to produce that? What if you're producing it for 1, for 100, for 500?
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And the real practical interestingly enough, the real practical piece of, let's say you're doing this in terms of part of the on-the-job training.
Yep.
Okay, that you can get. There can be actually an example that's signed off by not only the professor, okay, but also part of that documentation of that skill could be the sign off of the employer. Hey,
right.
Can you say that? Can you sign off and say, hey, this was done pretty well? Yeah. I could see people wearing GoPros actually.
Yeah, it would be so fun.
As they're doing this kind of documentation,
yep.
and then uploading what's on the GoPro,
right.
to the web or
sure.
or Google Glass. God help us. Okay. Marketing, including internal and external.
Again, they'll develop a marketing plan. That would be a written kind of thing that they would upload.
Okay.
Or yeah.
And the leadership and conflict resolution basic approaches. That's going to be a little tricky.
That's a little bit tricky. Right now it's a written thing, but I was thinking in my mind there's the possibility of role play as a video upload. We could do interaction in,
It'd be interesting as a former dishwasher, as a guy who was, washing the pots.
Mm-hmm.
It would be really interesting to see whether you could capture somebody losing their marbles in a kitchen, and then seeing how the person deals with the resolution of that.
It's kind of funny because in developing pieces for this, I reached out to some chefs that I know in different parts of the industry, and Michael Ruhlman sent me a tweet saying, remember to tell them that by the time you're screaming at your cook, it's already too late. Which is very true, very true. But
okay.
It's already too late if you're beyond conflict resolution.
Yep. So after just to wrap up,
mm-hmm.
So you'd want to do the skills list for each one of these particular classes, and
right.
Notice how the skills list in the assignments
right.
and in the projects work
right.
that the students are doing. And then again, all of this data, all of these work that they're doing can then be uploaded, whether it's onto their portfolio and assessed. And that's
mm-hmm.
a real critical piece here with the learning. We'll skip the professional associations for time, but clearly
okay.
there are a bunch of different professional associations that you have to, contact to make sure that this certification works, or sort of like certifying the certification.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're going to want to, a little bit later on, take the conversation line and figure out how Oplerno can facilitate that piece of the certification for this program.
Right. National Restaurant Association or something.
Yep. Timeline. How long do you think it's going to take you to sort of develop to get this certification ground?
Well,
What's
of
your
course,
guess?
there's always. I'm certainly not. I'm more on food service management, so looking at a certificate program like this, it would depend on how many other courses were available. I mean, marketing. I'm assuming there's someone who wants to do a marketing piece. If I have to develop all, maybe 6 months.
Well, it's interesting if with the marketing piece, you've got other professors who want to be teaching too.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
That can be contacted.
Yeah.
But there's also the issue of, are there marketing classes that can be transferred in to Oplerno,
right.
not as part of our portfolio system, but transferred in that allow a student to gain the certification.
Right.
If the marketing class meets your needs, or the finance class.
Yeah, absolutely.
And again, the Serve Safe class could be the certification that either you provide or that someone else has provided that meets that. So,
right.
You could see that by creating 1 or 2 classes and pairing with other faculty members,
yep.
that very quickly you can have something that's not only just a class, but also a value added for the student in terms of a certification, which will help you attract students,
yep.
which is really, really important. The students and the learning piece. Okay. Well, listen.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rob.
And that's it for our workshop. Very soon. So take And whoops.